Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to an unboxing build of Gretchen Wachter, the Blood Bowl Widow. So this miniature dropped this week from Forge World. It is currently £19 for an individual miniature, and it is for this ghost lady on the left here. It's a very cool miniature. If you want to know more about what Gretchen does on the pitch, please go and watch our Star Player Spotlight, which I'll link above. Basically, she is a ghost. She's got no hands, and once per game she gets a really good chance of busting in to any cage anywhere. So quite a cool angle there. Pretty expensive piece, but a very cool angle. Anyway, we are here to have a look at this miniature and give it a quick build. So inside the box you get 5 of these resin sprues. So I've seen some people paint individual pieces of resin using these as kind of paint handles. I'm not sure this miniature is going to require sub-assembly for painting, but what we can do is we can have a look at the casting quality. So you can see there's a bit of webbing between the resin pieces there. It's kind of akin to flash, so there's a few of those. Now I've washed this already, lukewarm water and a dab of soap. Do not go hot water, you risk melting your miniature. But if you give it a good wash and you take a large dry brush or an old toothbrush or something and give it a bit of a shake, you will take off the majority of the outstanding flash, which is pretty helpful actually. So you get the individual pieces, but you also get this insert in your packet. Now it was wedged in there, so I've managed to rip mine already. So this one, you've got the instructions on the back, so we can see that Gretchen is in 7 pieces. There's an individual face there, so that's going to be fun in a moment. But also, and this is something that I actually really quite like, you get the profile of the player, which is basically straight out of Spike 11, I think. So you get a bit of background, a bit of info. Apparently she's only 5'5", which is interesting, and it's just a cool little extra. All they really needed to do is provide the instructions, and let's face it, with a lot of stuff they don't even bother putting instructions on, so that's quite cool. So let's get building. And we're done. So that wasn't too bad to build. A couple of things to mention is you're going to need some kind of pin file or something just to kind of make sure all the joins are close. Now the face didn't fit too badly, but you can probably see, depending on whether I can get it to zoom properly or not. Nope, having zoom issues today. You can probably see that there's a little bit of a gap. That's probably because I didn't clean up well enough. With resin kits, it's best to do a lot of dry fitting and a lot of scraping away. They're not plastic, they're not perfect, and there will be kind of detritus and imperfections when it comes to the joins. So a couple of things to mention about the miniature. First of all, detail is lovely. Like, let's zoom it around. It's a very clever piece. The arms fit really well. The body, generally speaking, fits really well. The face was a bit tricky, but actually that's okay. Build the body first, put it on the base last. So I think I've put it a bit too much at a jaunty angle there, and it's too late for me because I've already glued it in place. Even though I did a dry fit, when I glued it, I didn't get it quite right. So when she's sitting down, she will be at a slightly kind of leaning forward angle, which I don't think is going to be a massive problem. What I could do is just clip it off and pin it. But this is the thing I wanted to mention here is let's get the bit of the bounce. So if I move this miniature around, it wobbles like a inflatable, you know, like a wacky waving inflatable arms man. So definitely nervous as you like about that resin join being the only thing that's keeping her flying. If it was plastic, wouldn't be quite so bad because you can always polystyrene cement it together. Now with resin, you've got to use super glue, and you can pin it over time. If it does snap, it'll be alright, but you're going to have to be real careful with this miniature. Anyway, let's have a look at some size comparisons, and I think the ghost from the Necro team is probably the size comparison that we are going to want more than anything. Let's see if we can't get the zoom to be actually where we want it to be this time. There we go. Good boy, Ben. So size-wise, let's compare. She's got height on the white, because a lot of people are talking about using her as one of their whites for the team. And that would work brilliantly. I'm still probably favouring the Mermorn Banshees over anything, or a couple of people have just got these skeleton whites from the Undead team and just painted them like ghosts. That looks pretty sweet. So size-wise, for Gretchen, she's got a decent head of height there. Apparently she's supposed to be 5'4", so that's interesting. Let's take a human thrower and compare. So where she's floating in the air, she does have basically a head and shoulders above, which I think is fair and appropriate. But to be honest with you, scale wise, she looks perfect. She looks like a Blood Bowl player. You've got the ghost elements of the armor there, which makes it look really good. You can see that she was, or is now at least, a Blood Bowl player. And I think this miniature is overall going to be really wonderful to paint. So that is Gretchen, the Blood Bowl Widow, for Blood Bowl from Forge World. So some of the positives: it's a cool miniature. We talked about it on the podcast this week, that comes out tomorrow, about, you know, every now and again it's cool to pick up a miniature just to paint. £19 with postage is quite a lot for a single miniature. When it comes to her on the pitch, if you want to know more, please do check out the Star Player Spotlight. We talk through all the skills and kind of uses. But I've not thought that Gretchen is going to be that amazing. However, she could be really useful when the time comes. So it's a lovely miniature. It takes a little bit of work, but it's really not that bad. And I think it's going to be an absolute delight to paint. So if you were in the market for a ghostly project, maybe Gretchen is the one for you. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.